Alright, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm recording a Yu-Gi-Oh deck I've been using, so we'll get into it. The main focus of this is using this Unstoppable EXODIA Incarnate. This is a deck that I've made and it's carried me all the way to plat. So 5 forbidden 1 monsters cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Once per turn, if this card battles during battle calculation, you can gain attack based on your LP. That is really good if you're high LP, but obviously if you're a bad, LP, then you're cooked. So, and then you can negate once per turn a spell or trap card that is activated, so that's good for keeping Exodia up. And then once per turn, you could get Exode or Obliterate Spell Trap from your deck. But a drawback with this card is you lose 1000 life points per every standby phase. So at the end of each round, you could set this card or this card. This one is really good because if you have a spell or trap or anything in that zone, you can get rid of it all, pay half your LP, and then set all 5 pieces of Exodia, and then add up to 10,000 damage per card, or 2,000 damage per card, which is 5 cards equals 10,000 damage, and it will attach to the Unstoppable Exodia right here. And then that also stacks with the LP that you can calculate during your damage phase as well. So I've gotten crazy clips where it's like 18,000 damage or 3,000 damage. So the whole focus of this deck is getting the Millennium Ankh. Because getting this allows you to summon Unstoppable Exodia. So how do you do this? You use Senjin Wakes, and then you place him in your spell area, and then while this card is a continuous spell, you can either pay 2000 LP or reveal Millennium Ankh. So if you don't have an Ankh in your hand, you have to reveal 2000 LP in order to find an Ankh. Or, well, you actually find a Millennium card, which Heart of the Blue Eyes is one. And with Heart of Blue Eyes, if you discard this card, you get Millennium Ankh. So it's essentially the same thing. And so having 3 Heart of Blue Eyes is also like having 3 Millennium Ankhs. So you basically have 6 Millennium Ankhs. And then if you get this, yes, you have to pay 2000 life points, but you're still able to get the Millennium Ankh. Same with the shield. If you pay 2000, you can reveal a Millennium Ankh and special summon. So if you have a Millennium Ankh in your hand, go ahead and summon these first. That way you can reveal the Millennium Ankh and be able to summon these monsters without having to pay the life points. So the attack is 2700, it's solid attack. 3000 defense is great. But this will go to your graveyard. But if it goes to your graveyard and you successfully activate an Ankh, you can special summon. Hold on. Sneeze? Nah, it's gone. Or has 3000 attack or more, you can send that monster to a graveyard. If you do, special summon this card. So you can summon this card back after using the Ankh. And then couple of cards that help this deck. I'm still changing stuff around, but I got to plat with this. And this is really the first deck I've actually made and used because I'm a huge Exodia fan. But playing actual Exodia, of course, isn't really viable. So you want to be able to have like things that can help you out. So we obviously have a max C. It never hurts to have one. You can send this card to the graveyard at each time an opponent special summons a card. Immediately draw one card. I had a match where I kept drawing over and over and over. I almost pulled full Exodia. That was funny. 3 Ash Blossoms, of course. Oh, it's just a cheesy card. Maiden of the Millennium Moon. You can activate an effect once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can place it in your spell or trap zone. It's good to place this in that zone, so you can use Obliterate. And then, your opponent activates a card. You can special summon this card. Your opponent cannot target level 5 or higher illusion or spell monster cards. So it's a solid card. And then Lava Golem, this has helped me actually a lot. I'm a big Lava Golem fan though. But you're able to like grab any or place it on your opponent's field and they take 1,000 damage. And you tribute 2 monsters as well. So I'm thinking about taking this out and adding one more Lava Golem. But this card is good, but I think there are probably better options. So this card is honestly replaceable. So as most people know what it does, but you can special summon this card on your field, then basically annihilate the opponent's field, but combining their attack and defense on their side all into one token. So it's okay, but they can use that token to like summon something else. Raigeki is great just to help stall out till you get this, just in case. Monster Reborn is great, of course. Millennium Monks. This I've added not too long ago. I think it's honestly solid. If a level 10 or higher monster destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, the player who controlled the destroyed monster takes 1,000 damage. So it's decent, but it's not like the greatest. Wedju Temple is pretty solid. So during your main phase, you can place one monster from your hand and your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous spell, then place one Millennium Monster on your deck in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous spell. You can only use it once per turn. If a face-up Millennium Monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can place it in your spell and trap zone as a face-up continuous spell instead of sending it to the graveyard. That's really good. And then this to negate a face-up monster's effects. I might add one more of these. And like I said, get rid of this. Because this does help a lot. Exo Fires of Rage is really good. So like I said, whenever you're controlling the unstoppable Exodia Incarnate, you can at the end of each turn you could grab this or this. And depending on your situation, you could grab Obliterate or Exode. And so which one I like more? I probably like Exode just because it's like a Raigeki. But it destroys all cards your opponent controls, so not just monsters. It's like Spell Zone, all that type of stuff. Field cards, all that. Obliterate, I never really use all that much. Just because I rather use these two. But it's a good card because you could get Exodia. And then this card is solid for stalling, so you could special summon it with 1800 attack or 1800 defense. Not the highest, but obviously it'll negate some cards. And when this card in the monster zone is destroyed by battle, you could destroy the monster that destroyed this card. So if it gets destroyed, you're taking the other card with you. And then this card is great, Dimension Shifter. If you have no cards in your graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard until the end of the next turn. Any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. That's obviously really good, but you can only run one. But it's really, really great. And then my goat right here, Fiend Reflection of the Millennium. You can set this card in your spell zone, and then you can only use each of the following effects of Fiend Reflection of the Millennium once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can place it in your spell and trap zone as a face-out continuous spell. If your opponent activates a card or effect, while this card is a continuous spell, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card, then can gain LP equal to the attack of one monster. Oh, man, that's a lot of reading. If you have the Unstoppable Exodia on your field, and you have the max damage, which is 8,000. Actually, you can stack the damage, so you could be up to 12,000. For example, you can take half of that and gain 6,000 LP. Now, that is really rare to happen. Or if they have another card that's up and it has a bunch of attack points, you can also get a lot of LP for that. And then whenever you attack again with the Unstoppable, that obviously boosts that attack. Because you can stack his attack every battle phase. So if I did 4,000 one phase, and then I went down to 2,000 LP, I can add 2,000 to the 4,000 and do 6,000 damage. And also, this card can't be destroyed by that battle. So, you can place it on your field to kind of stall. But bad things about this deck is also I don't really focus on the extra deck. I built this deck a long ago, so I haven't really edited the extra deck. The only one I've really used is Superstar Slayer. And these two, Silhouette Rabbit and Earth Charmer, are pretty good. But anyways, as besides the point, you can constantly add attack with Unstoppable Exodia, but the bad thing about it is if I don't know the exact card as Sky Striker, but they can take your Unstoppable Exodia and use it for their own, which is pretty broken. And that's a really good counter. Also, a lot of the combos in this deck are just like single combos, so they could get stopped very easily. But if you get this deck like up and working, it is really, really fun to play. So I'll show y'all really just one match, because my opinion, a simple play this deck is probably one of the easiest ones. Because you can, the game kind of just shows you, just don't accidentally negate your own effects with Unstoppable Exodia. If I'm not paying attention, I accidentally do that a lot. But try not to and be better than I am. So I'll show y'all a match. And I've had a bunch of clips where I'll post them soon, where I'll just win in one turn, or maybe I'll show that now. I'll win in one turn, and actually, I like going second with this deck a lot. Because if I go second, they already get their field kind of built up. But if I have so much LP, since they can't really attack me first phase, the Unstoppable Exodia will have 8,000 attack, and then that's a lot of damage. And then if I'm able to summon Sengenjin, whatever the hell, that's even more attack, and then they might just lose because They're not able to do anything, but that could all get countered very easily. So I'll show y'all a match. Hopefully did a good job explaining it. I'll show y'all a match. Okay. This match, I am going first, but I think this is one of the best examples I could pull up from my replays that I've saved for this. Alright, let's get it in. So I got these two right here. So I use this and the max C. And then I will be placing this in my spell zone. Then summoning this for later. And pay 2,000 for Heart of the Blue Eyes to get the Millennium Ankh. Use the Millennium Ankh, whip out my meat, and reveal all EXODIA cards. I only pulled one. Then the Unstoppable EXODIA, big meat card. And then at the end of the phase, I was able to grab Obliterate Blaze, which will come in very handy later. So you can activate it and then place it inside of Unstoppable Exodia. I negate his field effect, which that might not have been the best play, but doing all that really helps. So you kind of, with the negate effect of Unstoppable Exodia, you want to kind of play it safe and try to figure out when you want to use the negate. And then, as you can see, I move him from my spell zone, and then gain half the life points of this, so it bumped me up back. So yeah, this card is great for recovering some of that HP you lost. He's kind of just setting up his field, I can't really do much. But I was able to activate Heart of the Blue Eyes, and set it right there. Alright. Battle phase is gonna destroy that. And then he probably knew he could destroy this. So now I grab Exo Fires of Rage. Because I see there's a lot of cards on the field. I have to lose my 1000 LP. And then Exo Fires of Rage. Destroy all that. And then pay the 1000. And then put this in my spell card. Because I have the Obliterate Blaze on my Exodia. Now I attach each piece and did 13,000 damage. That's probably the best example I could show you. Other than that, it's probably just 1-win turns or people rage quitting. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys liked it, I will do more decks. I try to do more fun ones other than like meta. So right now, I have a Blackluster Soldier deck I'm working on right now. And then I might do a little bit of a meta pick because Platinum is getting harder. And Exodia, like the more people playing meta, Exodia kind of struggles. If you get it working like turn one, it's amazing. But if you get a really bad hand, which is really rare, the deck pretty much struggles. So if you guys enjoyed that one, I hope you guys did. I'll do more. I've been getting into Yu-Gi-Oh lately. I find it fun to play. So yeah, y'all have an amazing day.